The story starts with an anti-social high school student named Seo Yi transferring to a countryside school due to his father's job transfer. After moving to his new neighborhood, Seo Yi joins his new school but gets in trouble on the first day after hitting a bully named Jun-won, who was messing with one of his classmates. However, that bully was actually the son of his father's boss, who held huge financial and political power and basically controlled all of the town. As a result of his reckless action, Seo Yi gets expelled from his school and his father loses his job. But even after this incident, nothing changes in Seo Yi's peaceful life until his father gets involved in a car accident. After his father's funeral, Seo Yi gets informed by his friend named Soo-ah that the car his father was hit by belonged to the bully Jun-won who had Seo Yi expelled from school. Now filled with anger, Seo Yi sets out to take revenge against his father's murderer. After almost beating Jun-won to death, Seo Yi gets stopped by the cops on time but ends up getting charged with attempted murder and gets sentenced to 3 years in prison. His once close friend, Soo-ah, also betrays him and sides with the bully's father, who offered to pay for her college and living expenses. But Seo Yi doesn't think anything bad of her cause. He knew that no amount of evidence would work against the opposition's power and influence. While in prison, he makes connections with the boss of a gang and learns everything about starting a business and the story of how Jenga Company, the company ran by Jun-won's father, started with nothing but became one of the biggest in the country. 2 years later, he gets released from prison and travels to Itaewon to meet Soo-ah, and after spending the night of Halloween together, he falls in love with this place and decides to start his business in Itaewon rather than Seoul. But to start a business, he needed funds, and the only place where he could get a job was a deep-sea fishing. 7 years later, Seo Yi finally saves enough and starts a pub named Danbam and takes first step towards achieving his revenge. A few days after opening his pub, Seo saves 2 people named Jo Yi Seo and Jang Jun-soo during an accident, who would later go on to become invaluable members of his team, helping him to grow his business. Although Seo's business got off to a good start, things take turn for worse when someone calls the cops on his pub because one of his employees had served alcohol to underage students in their bar, and these students were none other than Jo Yi Seo and Jang Jun-soo, whom he had saved during the accident. However, rather than blaming the students or his employee, Seo takes all the blame on himself, resulting in the pub being forced to shut down for 2 months. Later, he discovered that the one who complained to the cops was none other than his friend Soo-ah. She had once again betrayed him due to her loyalty towards Jenga Company.